The Sporlan division of Parker Hannifin proudly sponsors the Advanced Refrigeration Podcast. There are a lot of questions surrounding the transition to A2L refrigerants and a lot of talking heads disseminating nebulous answers. But when your technician is face-to-face with the first A2L transition project, where do you turn for real-world answers about this specific job? Parker Sporlan's Virtual Engineer is an innovative online design tool to size and select the correct components for climate control and refrigeration applications. Get your A2L system flow and component selection answers in 3 simple steps. Enter your application details, size, and select products, then download your project files. It's that easy. Try it at absolutely no cost. Visit sporlan.com and navigate to the Resource Center. Parker Sporlan, leading the charge.
Bite.
Yep.
By the way, you really think I should quit my job and just be a salesman?
Yes.
Really? Millions of dollars?
Uh-huh.
And sell my soul, start selling used cars?
No, dental equipment.
Dental equipment?
Yep.
Like dental air compressors and that?
No, like teeth.
Oh, okay. So I'm already in a hoity-toity area and...
Yeah. I'm telling you, you got it. Millions.
Awesome. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Advanced Refrigeration Podcast. You're the host, Brett Wetzel and Kevin Compass. So you were in Colorado?
Yes. Actually, it was the nicest place I have ever worked so far. Because usually I'm in not nice places.
It's really funny because usually you come back and like, this is the worst fucking place ever. It's in Ohio.
No, it was awesome. Awesome.
Did you see what I put the temporary title as?
What? I saw a bear fight a snake. That would be my apprentice. No, dude, it was honestly great. Like it was cool. After we were done working, we went to a couple national parks, and they were like right there. The first store we were at, we were literally in the mountains. Like it was just at the peak.
Okay.
Which I'm a little bit out of shape, so like me running around with less oxygen.
How are you out of shape? You go.
I don't do
gym.
Cardio.
Yeah,
I don't do cardio.
I know, but like you go to the gym every morning. You wake up at 3:30. You go to the gym every morning by 4:30.
Yeah, because I don't do cardio, and there was just a lot of. There's a lack of oxygen. Like I have sinus problems, so like the instant lack of oxygen, I was like, I feel like death.
It's weird because it's usually the first, because I've been out to Colorado now, I think 4 weeks now. I got 3 more weeks I got to go. And the first 2 days, you're getting acclimated. Like I feel like I'm short of breath for the first 2 days out there because of the elevation. So there's that.
Yeah, you really don't think it is. And then like yesterday, at the end of the day, we went to the state park and we hiked all the way up to the peak, and I was dying.
Now I think I've just made myself have a tick. I'm like,
it's funny. Yeah, it wasn't a bad week besides the sub screwing up everything and we didn't get to finish, but It wasn't that bad of a week. But so this week, guys, we're going to talk about refrigerant line sizing. We're going to give you...
You can't do it.
Huh?
I said it's easy. Who can't do it?
Yeah, so we're going to talk about refrigerant line sizing. And we'll go into loop piping a little bit and some other stuff. But so we're going to break it down. Why is this important? So line sizing is probably one of the most important things in the store. If the refrigeration lines are sized wrong, you're going to have poor oil return if they're too big. You're going to have low suction velocities. You're going to have liquid lines if they're too big. You're going to have rivering lines. You're going to have lazy liquid in there. Yep. If it's too small on suction lines, you're going to have a pressure drop. Pressure drop equals energy loss. And then you're going to have to run the suction lower on the rack, and it's going to cause all kinds of issues. And same thing with the liquid pressure drop. You may lose, if you have a pressure drop on your liquid line, you may lose subcooling, and you may start flashing at your cases, kind of like a CO2 rack does when it has really crappy liquid.
Or when it's crappy insulation or crappy tubes ran on the roof.
Yeah, roof deck and everything else. But like, this is why line sizing is important. And we're going to go over condenser and drop leg line sizing. Why that's important too, because there's a whole myriad of that causes issues of. All right, let's start with it. Brett, where do you want to start? You want to start branch circuits? You want to start condensers? How do you want to start?
Do you want to just start from the discharge out? Do you just want to?
Yeah,
just...
we'll do that. So today,
Yeah,
guys,
hold on before you start. Are we doing? You just want to do like a simple single system
440.
first?
We'll do 448. Yeah, like we can do a rack. It's fine.
Okay.
So, guys, this is the Tecumseh software. We just picked something real quick. This is a decent sizing software. It may not be the best, but this is a quick and easy one. We could show you guys on the computer that Brett's computer is at home with a good software. And it was too tiny to show.
It looked like it literally would have took up an eighth of the picture, and everyone would have been looking at the podcast like this. What the fuck are they showing? So we're just not going to do that. Plus, my desktop was horrible, so that's the other reason why.
So on here, so you have your units of measure, BTUs an hour. Obviously, we're doing that. If you're European, you got all your European measurements.
You don't want to be.
I hate KW. Celsius KW. So BTUs per ton, and then you're going to choose your refrigerant type, which we're doing 448, and then you get your refrigerant line. So you click on that. You got condenser drain. You got discharge. Okay. So we're going to do discharge.
Yeah, and there is a difference between suction and suction riser for obvious reasons, but yeah, discharge.
Yep. And then refrigerant line. So we're going to do auto select.
So what this is going to do, basically, we're going to put in all the capacities of stuff that we're going to size and then let it auto populate. You can put, if you have the line size that you currently have, then you can basically put that line size in there, put all the data in there, and then it's going to yell at you and be like, no, that's dumb. Let's not do that. So refrigerant auto select. So we're just going to do just a medium temp for right now.
No, I moved something and I couldn't hear anymore.
Yeah, I got that. All right, cool. So evaporator temperature, that'll be your saturated suction. So we'll just do the norm 18 for a lot of stuff.
Yep. Now, guys, this is going to be your design SST, like whatever your design is. So if it's a plus 24, this is not going off the rack. So if it's a plus 24 evaporator temp and the rack's running a plus 18, you're going to go with a plus 24. You're going to go with whatever your design temp is. Now, if it's a loop pipe and it's on there and it's after the control valve, you're going to be on whatever the line is, meaning from the rack. You're going to size it that way.
But we're doing
discharge pipe. Yeah, we're doing discharge pipe. So this is, I just want to throw that out there.
Okay, no, it's fine. So condenser piping so for condensing temps, depends on where you're at, right? Depends
115.
on. Yeah, you just want to do a stable 115.
Yep.
Okay. Liquid temp, subcooler or not the subcool?
We'll leave it not subcooled.
All right, so we get to say that we'll probably only have 5 degrees of subcooling out of the thing. So we'll do liquid temperature 110 and the length
175.
That's a big discharge line, long discharge line. And then system capacity.
All right, hold on. I'm gonna give this to you. So I have actual numbers I want to use.
Okay.
So we're gonna use system capacity.
You're such an asshole.
What?
Nothing. Go ahead.
Let me find everything.
Good thing you're not Jamie. By the way, I just want to say you're so petty. But go ahead, continue.
Okay, so we are going to go with I pulled up an actual legend here.
God. I keep trying to change the numbers on the screen in front of me instead of the screen over there.
Oh, it's hilarious. So, Brett, would you use the total heat of rejection for this, or would you use the total system capacity?
You would use a total heat of rejection.
Exactly.
Because
So,
if you don't use, I mean, we look, okay, so just for an example, for those guys that don't understand what we're talking about. So total heat rejection is basically the amount of BTUs of the compressors on top of the amount of actual extra discharge superheat. Because remember, that's what we're doing with the condenser, right? We're removing the superheat, getting it down to saturation, and then letting that condenser basically turn that shit into a liquid. So because it has to take an effect, let's actually look at the sizing for the capacity, but then also the total heat rejection, see how that would change the discharge line. How about that?
okay, so this is a dual temp rack, which we don't have the ability to do it on here.
Okay.
But all right, so the total heat rejection is 470,000 BTUs in 719.
You said that's so weird. All right, so
I
it's
know.
470,791.
Yep, and then change the evap temp to plus 22.
Okay. 22 petty. Okay.
And the condenser to 110. And then make that other one 105.
I'm getting there. Jamie knows. Jamie knows. Okay.
All right,
Select.
let's select.
Select. What?
I think you got to put a comma in the system capacity.
Really? Comma. Select. Negative, Red Rider.
What the hell?
Maybe it doesn't do systems that large. Oh, wait a minute. Ton. It's in ton, not BTU. Motherfucker, that's why. Because it would have been 470,791 tons. That's too fucking big for me. I don't know what to do. All right, so here we go. Select. There we go.
Oh, look, now it works.
So look, it's actually two and one, right?
Yep.
Or no, two and 5/8 to have no pressure drop.
Yep. So 2 and 5/8 to have 0 pressure drop. Now, if you're doing a split header, if you're doing 50-50, you would need to basically cut that in half.
Oh, I see what you're saying. All right. So you wouldn't need two and 5/8 lines because that would be ridiculous. That would be too much, right?
Yep.
Okay, so let's cut these each in half then, right?
Yeah, so we're going to cheat this a little bit to give you what it would be for 50-50. So if you did it this way and cut that number in half.
Yeah, I'm getting a calculator because I'm retarded. Excuse me. Damn it. Stupid gyro. All right. So 470. Oh, are you fucking serious?
Just copy and paste it in there.
I'm being very gentle with my browser history. I don't know what I searched last night, so just saying. All right.
Divide by 2.
Divide by 2 equals. All right. So then we change this a number. Oh, shit.
It's 235.
Yeah. Well,
395.
I'm going to copy and paste it. Just give me a second. Control C. And then window. That's not going to get me in trouble. Control V. And then select all. So for which boost, that's really 2 and 1
for 0 pound pressure drop.
For 0.1, yeah.
You probably want a little bit of pressure drop. I would think 3 pounds of pressure drop on a discharge. Because, all right, you got to remember, it's 3 pounds of pressure drop at peak load. When do we ever peak load?
Always.
Yeah, never. I think me personally, I would grab the 1.5 inch.
Yeah, no, that kind of makes sense.
So you're going to have 3 pounds of pressure drop. So it's giving you at peak load, that would be 3 pounds of pressure drop. Now, mind you, that's split across two of them. So
yeah, no, I get it. But my question, I guess, would be because I forget what the discharge velocity needs to be. That
I don't remember. I always remember suction ones and liquid. So you need to you need to have a set velocity in there for the oil to move properly through the system and everything to flow properly. So that pressure drop where it's clicking on there, right there it says, it's really blurry for me, 1321 feet per minute. So it's pulling out 1,300 feet per minute. Now, look, if you drop it to 2 1/8, you drop down to 759 feet per minute, which is not good. It's too low.
Okay, discharge piping maintain a gas velocity between 500 and 1,000 feet per minute.
Guess it would be fine.
No, it's a little bit too much velocity.
So yeah, 2 1/8 would be better.
Yeah, so 2 1/8.
Yeah, you want to really pay attention. You need to know what your velocity number should be, but I stand corrected.
This kind of took a turn for the other way, didn't it?
Yeah.
But that's why. You technically could. You just have some velocity barreling through. And that's why certain customers, they'll downgrade their piping size to a lot smaller to get the discharge velocity up, because basically you get enough velocity through like a oil separator and that to smash that oil out.
That's why I would think the engine 5 would be a little bit better.
More pressure drop means that you're going to have a higher pressure drop. But like you said, okay, so let's just say you don't run. Well, that's worst case scenario.
Yes.
Back to your point, that is worst case scenario. So even if we go, let's just say we go 230,000. Blah, blah, blah. Let's see if that changes it much. Nope, it does not. We subtracted 5,000 BTUs from it.
Yeah, but 5,000 BTUs is nothing.
Subtract. All right. What number should I get? 210?
Yeah.
Too many zeros. No, it's not. Select.
Yeah, I dropped it down to
but it's still 2 1/8 seems optimal if it needs to be 500 to 1,000 feet per minute. Yeah,
but look, we're getting closer and closer. You bring that down to wintertime and you drop it even more. You drop 30,000 BTUs off, 40,000 BTUs off.
It's wintertime though. Most of the time it is going to be warmer. I get what you're saying, but
here though, like it's colder up here than it's warmer.
Okay, fair enough. I'm still going to say that the 2 and 1 seems optimal though. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now let's do the drop leg.
Okay.
Same.
So we're going to go back to the 235,000 then, right?
Yep. So we have 2 drop legs.
Okay.
Then
we're going to do condenser drain.
Yep.
And then same select. Yeah, I don't remember what that other velocity needs to be. Well, I'm going to look right now. Unless you know what it is offhand.
I don't remember. I just
Vinen just spouts it off. Him and Joe Sig, they're just like blah 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 blah, and that's what it is. And I'm like, oh, that's what it is. Okay, so condenser drain.
I always got to look it up on my phone.
Yeah, no, same thing. There's 20 different. I just want a quick answer. Don't make me look through a book. God damn it.
I would think it'd be close to a liquid line.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, you're right.
It's less than 300 feet per minute.
Condenser drain. You fucker. Oh, nope.
Because you don't want a huge pressure drop on the condenser. You or any liquid line. Any pressure drop on a liquid line is no good. But you also don't want it too oversized, or else you're going to have really shitty velocity on it. So if you look on here, it shows the inch and 5/8 line. The engine 3 would have 120 feet per minute at a 0.8 of a pressure drop, almost a pound. The engine 5 is 0.3.
Yeah, I don't know where it is. Discharge line, liquid line. So if it's considered a liquid line, which I guess it's considered a liquid line. Because all they have is liquid line, discharge line, and evaporator line. So I guess you would follow anything greater than anything less than 300 feet per minute, right?
Yep.
Fuck, you could even run inch and 3/8 at that point.
Yeah, inch and 3/8 you could.
But
Which, I mean, you're gonna have a slightly larger pressure drop at that.
Yeah.
You can get away with engine 3. All right, that's our condenser drain piping.
But now if we're doing this next liquid line sizing is brought to you by Mr. Blue Eyes, Mr. Wakefern. Thank you very much. So let's continue the liquid line sizing, shall we?
Yes.
Oh damn it! I'm not even trying. Share screen. I'm so tired. Share screen. All right. So when doing liquid line sizing, how about we leave out the vertical height? Problem is when we leave in the vertical height, it's actually going to add gravity on there. So if we were doing the capacity for what we were speaking of, 11,000 BTUs at a 50-foot line, the line length, 105-degree liquid, 27-degree saturation. So let's here, I'm going to put it back to auto select and see what it wants us to use and then see what it does. Yeah, we're going to use at least 3/8.
Yeah, usually half at minimum, but so if you look on here, your pressure drop at 3/8 is 0.7. If you went to half, go ahead and go to half.
Yes, sir. Select. Yeah, that would be optimum.
Yes,
because we're still under 300 feet per minute. Obviously, it's going to drop because we have a bigger line size. But yes, yeah. So just to show you an example of what would happen if we go to, let's just say 15 foot of vertical. So it's accounting that it has to go up a ways. So you're fighting against gravity. So this is why it would essentially show the delta of 6.8 pressure drop.
Because it has to overcome that rise.
Yeah, that's what was killing us.
Yep. If you're doing it, remember, guys, on a liquid line, on a drop, you have nothing. So you're coming from the ceiling, you have nothing. But if you're coming from the floor, you're going to have something. So say you were coming from the floor, and say you had a 5, put a 5, or say we're coming from the floor of a walk-in. Say we had a 10-foot.
Or underneath the ground, right?
Yeah.
Underneath the ground, let's just do a 5-foot little risey rise. Oh, there we go.
You're gonna have a 2-pound pressure drop.
Let's see what happens if I bump it up.
Say 2.3. So you're still gonna have some pressure drop there. So you gotta make sure you're good enough to have a 2-pound pressure drop. So that's where it comes in when you're coming out of the ground, or if you're in a basement going up, you're gonna have some pressure drop there.
Yeah. So you can use that in the fact too, if you do have some sort of pressure drop in there and you do end up having some flash gas because of some shitty subcooling and because you're all the way the hell out from a certain area, there's a good possibility that could happen.
Yeah. So that's the liquid line sizing that me and Brett screwed up.
Today's episode is sponsored by the RefraShield RDP Series differential pressure monitors from Westermeyer Industries, now available for transcritical CO2 systems in addition to other common pressures and refrigerants. When the filter element of your coalescing oil separator is contaminated, it can hurt your system's performance and efficiency. But how do you know when it's time to replace that filter? Wait too long to replace, and you could end up with a nasty filter blowout. But replacing too often can be a waste of time and money. The answer is installing a differential pressure monitor. The RDP Series differential pressure monitors, including the new transcritical CO2 model, are available now from Westermeyer Industries. To find out more information, email sales@westermeyerin.com. That's WESTERMEYERIN.com.
And we do it on this. Go to suction. Change it back to auto for line size. So select, and right here, so it throws out 1/2 inch, 5/8, and 3/4. Obviously, 3/4 is not a very common setup for us. So now you have for suction velocities, you want to be less than 750 feet per minute and no more than 1,500 feet per minute.
So the magic number would be 3/4.
Yeah.
I wonder what happens if we go to 7/8. So,
but it probably won't be that much different.
No, you can't. Velocity.
Yep, we're gonna lose it. In all reality, 3/4 would be
optimal.
Yeah, obviously 3/4 is a pretty weird size, but this is one case. It's 11,000 BTU, so it's probably one 12-foot case.
That's the thing. So what's weird is like over in Europe and Canada, they use 3/4 all the time. And then here in the United States, we're like, no. But it's weird because a lot of the cases end up, as far as the capacity wise, end up following where they fall in that rare line where it's no, you're not gonna have as much good oil return if you don't. You know what I mean?
Correct. So this is how you would size your suction line. And obviously, if you look on there, 5/8 is over the 1500. Now, if this was below the 1500, you don't want your riser over 4,000.
All right, so that would make sense because then you basically would go one size down. So if you're going 5/8 and 5/8 and 1/2 inch, so just for shits and giggles, if you go to 1/2 inch, select, yeah, so you're still under the velocity. It's a higher velocity too to get the oil back anyway. With the riser.
Look at your delta P now. You have a 5-pound delta, which is not good. You don't want a 5-pound direct pressure drop.
This is why we should start using 3/4 piping. I know it's going to be unpopular between the masses, but like this is why.
Go to 3/4, or so select.
Yeah.
See, your pressure drop's 1/2 pound, just over 1/2 pound.
If you have a 6-pound pressure drop in fucking 448, that's a couple degrees there, Bubba.
Yeah, so I mean that's why it's extremely important to size these suction lines properly. And as you're doing a loop, you need to look at a few things. As you're designing this loop, your capacity is going to increase as you get closer to the rack. At the end of the loop, I would think designing this, you would start at the end of the loop. And this is the last circuit on here. This is what your pipe size you're going to need. And just keep adding to it as you add the branch circuits to it. And then by the time you get to the rack, it should be the full blown up size.
Maybe that's what we'll do next week, or no, actually next week we're going to do more MT. But like I'll come up with something like a draw up, right? And then we'll put the line sizes with it together because you were going to add this amount of cases and this. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So we did liquid line sizing. We did suction line sizing. This would be your branch circuit sizing. This would be the same.
Hold on. Yeah. So we are all right. Never mind. Because I was just doing suction riser while you were talking.
Yep.
So barely any pressure drop. Velocity is greater than 1500. So that's good. Yeah. All right. Which one do you want to do? Oh, the whole branch.
Yeah. Well, you want to do the whole branch, or do you want to do that another one? Because we're going to have to do some system design here.
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's do a little bit longer. So, what I've always been taught with suction risers is if the BTU rating of the pipe is less than the design, meaning like you're going to be under on the feet per minute, then you need a reduced riser.
So let's try this real quick, just for shits and giggles, right? So we have the capacity for this and this, right? So in all fairness, like if we were to mix match both these, see, I don't know how you would do that as far as you got 1.5 pound pressure drop here, but you got only a 1/2 pound pressure drop. Does that mean like you only have 3/4 pound of pressure drop because you're dividing between the two? If you're doing a double riser, you know what I mean? Because then you would also still be under the 4,000 as well.
Yeah, you'd be under the 4,000.
Yeah, because it would be 39. It would be about 3,900, just about 3,920 or 33. Yeah. If you were to do double riser, what I'm talking about is using basically 5/8 and 1/2 inch together. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that would make sense. On something that small, it would never happen. You wouldn't need it. But like, where you're making sense is, so on the next one, I want to go over loop piping, figure out this, and then I want to figure out the double riser on the loops, like the main double risers.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
So the main double risers, but like on normal like case piping, it's pretty rare to see double risers. Most of the time, it's just
there are some customers now that are speccing it on CO2. They're speccing double risers on CO2 all the time.
God, do you remember all the stores that didn't have any traps?
Yeah.
There was a lot of them in the beginning, but again, guys, I was always taught, if you look at like the sizing sheets, where the old school Hussman sizing sheets, and you find that BTUs where you're at and line it up with the pipe length. And if you're under on the BTUs for that pipe length, then you need to reduce the riser. If you're not using a sizing software. But here's the deal, guys. Like, these sizing softwares are everywhere now, whether it's Tecumseh, Sporlan has a great one on Virtual Engineer. I like the old school program they had that was actually computer based. Like, I really like that line sizing calculator. It worked real well, but it doesn't have a lot of the new refrigerants in there. That's why the Virtual Engineer replaced it. There's a bunch of different of these line calculators like out there. Is setting this up and like calculating all the lines out, and it is extremely important to make sure that you get these suction lines right, because that's going to set your gas velocities for the store. And too big is just as bad as too small. Agreed. They're both going to have different options, different issues. Too small is going to kill your energy. Too big is going to smash your compressors.
Yes, I'm sorry. Yeah, because if it's too big, then basically what's going to happen is you're not going to have enough velocity to get your oil back, and the oil is just going to sit in the back of the systems, and then all of a sudden it's going to finally bring the oil back when it can't take any more, and now all of a sudden you're
going to get oil slugs.
Slugs, yeah.
I mean, and just because if the rack's lower or below, it's worse if the rack's above. But even if the rack's below the evaporators, the oil's going to sit in the evaporators, not come out.
True.
I would think
with what we used to.
I'm sorry, we had a lag. Go ahead.
That's right. With the top of having the proper set riser, also an inverted trap at the top is very important, because yes, you want to make sure you're slow back, but that inverted trap at the top also prevents any kind of oil from migrating back down the line back into the evaporator. Just go ahead and finish your thought. Sorry.
And I would think this issue would be even worse with pulse valves. If you throw pulse valves on there and you have improperly sized lines, I would think you get a lot of liquid hammering.
Especially if you have too small of a line, it's gonna cause a lot of hammering, right?
Yeah, it's gonna cause a lot of liquid hammering and a lot of moving in the overhead.
Gotcha.
Which could lead to a lot of line breaks.
Line breaks aren't good. No. All right, I'm exhausted. I think we call it.
Me too, and I want to dig into this pressure drop thing now.
Now you're pissed. All right, man. Talk to you guys later.